In this video, we're continuing section 2.3 on circles, and we are going to go over the tangent line to a circle. Okay, so I want to get into an example which says find the equation of a tangent line to this circle. So this is the equation of a circle at the point P0, or sometimes we call this P naught. Naught is, math lingo for the number 0. So P naught, and the coordinates of the point are 9 comma negative 3. Okay, so recall that when we have a circle, a tangent line is a line that just intersects that circle at one point. So it'll touch it ever so slightly just at one point like this. That is a tangent line. Okay, so I'm going to be drawing a sketch of that in just a little bit here once we know a little bit more information. So one thing I want to check about this is, this point right here that it's talking about, is that a point on the circle or no? So the way I can check is I can plug it in and see if it works in the equation. So I'm going to plug in 9 for x. So I get 9 minus 6 squared, and then negative 3 is y. Negative 3 plus 7 squared. And I want to see, I put a question mark here, I want to see if it equals 25. So 9 minus 6 is 3. 3 squared is 9. Negative 3 plus 7 is 4. 4 squared is 16. So I get 9 plus 16 equals 25. Is that true? Yeah, that is true. So that point is on the circle. This is a point on the circle. Okay, on our homeworks, we'll even see a problem. Now that's a step up in terms of difficulty, where we'll have to do this where our point is somewhere off of the circle, and we'll have to try to come up with the equation of a tangent line that gets the job done. Okay, so let's write down some information about the circle. Let's write down the center, and let's write down the radius. So recall the center for the coordinates. The x coordinate, I can think about it as, what do I plug in for x to make this part be 0? So I would plug in 6. And for y, what would I plug in here to make that 0? Well, I would plug in negative 7. Okay, and then the radius is the square root of this number, which is going to be 5. Okay, so that is my radius. I'll put an equal sign there. Okay, so the problem is asking me to get this tangent line equation. So at this point, let me draw a rough sketch. Just to get a feel for where is this circle, where is this tangent line roughly. So I'll draw some axes. I know the center is at 6 comma negative 7. So that's somewhere here. 6 comma negative 7 is somewhere in this is the fourth quadrant. And the radius is 5. If the radius is 5, and I go to the left of my center, the leftmost point on the circle, well, the x-coordinate would only end up being 1. The x-coordinate would only end up being 1, so I don't make it all the way to the y-axis. If I go up from the center to get the top point of the circle, well, the y-coordinate would only end up being negative 2. So that means the circle is never going to reach, this x-axis. So if I draw a rough sketch of my circle now, connecting, going all the way around, super rough, something like this. Okay, and now let's draw the point 9 comma negative 3. So it's got a bigger x-coordinate than the center and a bigger y-coordinate. So 9 comma negative 3, maybe that's somewhere here. I already figured out it's on the circle. So I know it's on and not off somewhere like that. So now let's draw a tangent line. Let's draw a tangent line at that point. Okay, so I'm going to try my best to draw this. So something like this maybe. It's not perfect. My picture definitely isn't perfect. But imagine that tangent line just only touches the circle once, and it's right at that point, right at 9 comma negative 3. So that is my tangent line. Okay, so the problem says, well, let's get the equation of this line. And for an equation of a line, I need two things. I need the slope, and I could either do the y-intercept, if I want to do y equals mx plus b, but, this tangent line is going to cross the y-axis somewhere. I don't really know where, though. So I'm not sure if y equals mx plus b is going to be helpful to me. So maybe I'm going to try point slope form. For point slope form, I need the slope, and I need a point. I would say at least 90% of the time, it's going to be easier to use point slope form than to use y equals mx plus b, because usually I will know a point on the line rather than knowing the y-intercept. Because the point on the line, well, that's 9 comma negative 3. I got that already. Nice. And now let's get the slope. Ooh, but I don't know the slope of this tangent line. So how do let me set up my picture a little bit better. The center looks a little off now that I've drawn my circle. It looks like it should be like more kind of here, maybe. Okay, so one of the key facts about a tangent line and its slope is that if you draw the radius, sorry, I want that to be straight. If I draw the radius to that point of tangency, my picture's a little bit off. You know what? So I'm gonna fix this, because what should happen is that the tangent line should end up being perpendicular. The tangent line should end up being perpendicular to that radius. So okay, let me fix that. Now that looks a little bit better. I didn't draw it so great before. Tangent line should be perpendicular to the radius to that point. So let me first get the slope of the radius. I'm going to call that m subscript rad for radius. So I'm going to use my slope formula. So change in y over change in x. So subtract the y values on top. Negative 3 minus negative 7. Subtract the x values on the bottom. 9 minus 6. When I do that, I get 4 over 3. So we've seen that when two lines are perpendicular, their slopes are opposite reciprocals. So my tangent line slope, I'm going to call that m tan. So I have to not only switch the sign, this was positive, I got to make it negative, and I got to reciprocal that fraction. So negative 3/4. Cool, I got the slope, and I got a point now, so I'm ready for my equation. Equation in point slope form is y minus the y coordinate of the point, which was negative 3, equals m, which is negative 3/4, parentheses x minus the x coordinate of the point, which was 9. Okay, let me just simplify that one step further, because a double negative is a positive. Y plus 3 equals negative 3/4, parentheses x minus 9. And that's my equation. Totally fine to leave it in point slope form. So if the question doesn't say I need it in y equals mx plus b form, it's totally fine to leave it in point slope form. So I'm done.